As I stated at the beginning of this lesson, our entire system of harmony in Western music is based upon intervals and stacking intervals to form what are known as triads or seventh chords. And you do this by playing a scale, such as the major scale or other scales, and you walk up the neck on pairs of strings, and you can play these diatonic intervals. Let's check it out. So if we take our C major scale, walking up the A string, but we're also going to play the third above C, which is E, but I'm just playing it on the next higher string. And then I'm going to go up to D and F. So I went major third, that's a minor third, and then E to G is a minor third, F to A is a major third, G to B is a major third, A to C is a minor third, B to D is a minor third, and C to E is a major third. You're going to want to do all these up and down, do it a few times. And then do that repeatedly to help it sink into your head. Now, if you take a fifth and play it there, we looked at there, C to G, or here. You can play it here. These are called diatonic fifth intervals. So C to G is a perfect fifth, D to A is a perfect fifth, E to B is a perfect fifth. These are all the fifth intervals that live within the C major scale. F to C is a perfect fifth, G to D is a perfect fifth, A to E is a perfect fifth, but now watch what happens. B to F is a diminished fifth. You may say, why don't you just go, because that note sticks out like a sore thumb, right? It's not native to the C major scale, so those are true diatonic fifths, and then you want to bring those back down. Now I'm going to take the fifth, the G note, and I'm going to move it over to the next higher string, to the G string. So now we're playing on non-adjacent strings. You can use hybrid picking or finger picking. Now you have C and G, there's a perfect fifth. D and A, perfect fifth. E to B, perfect fifth. F to C, perfect fifth. G to D, perfect fifth. A to E, perfect fifth. But then here's our diminished fifth, B to F. And then you notice that that's a 4-fret span. The rest of them are all 3 frets. It's really good to learn all your intervals on every single possible string combination. Now, if you put together the thirds that we did, we walked up in thirds, right? Major, minor thirds, and then we're going to add the fifths. We get what are called the diatonic triads in the key of C major. That's a C major chord, C, E, G, root third, fifth. And then we're going to walk up the scale, staying within the scale on each string. That's D minor, that's called your 2 chord. E minor is your 3 chord. F major is your 4 chord. G major is your 5 chord. A minor is your 6 chord, and B diminished is your 7 chord. And then you finally have the 1 chord again, C. So that's your set of diatonic triads in the key of C major. Always go back down. We do the same thing with seventh intervals. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, remember C to B is a major seventh, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to walk up the scale, up 1 octave, playing the root, and then the 7th. And that's a minor 7th, major 7th, minor 7th, minor 7, minor 7, major 7. In reverse. Sounds a little odd and spooky played by itself out of context. But as we're going to see, we're going to add that to the triads. But before we do that, we're going to play that note on the next higher string. So now we have a gap of 2 strings between. Here's our octave, major 7. So watch this. We're going to go C, B, major 7th, D, C, minor 7th. Bit of a stretch there. E to D, that's a minor 7th. F to E is a major 7th. G to F is a minor seventh, right? We're staying within the scale here. We're making sure we're not hitting any chromatic notes. A to G is a minor seventh. B to A is a minor seventh. C to B is a major seventh. Coming back down, major seven, minor seven, minor seven, minor seven, major seven, minor seven, minor seven, major seven. Now I did that for a reason because remember we took these diatonic triads? We're going to stack another note on top of that. We have root, the third, the fifth, the seventh. That's a diatonic seventh chord, C major seven. And then we have, this is a little bit of a stretch. Usually these aren't played this way. They're usually played in a more convenient fingering, but I'm showing you this because it's the most straightforward way to explain it. It's D minor seven. E minor seven, that's your three chord, your seventh chord. F major seven is your 4/7 chord. G7 or G dominant seven, that's your 5/7 chord. A minor seven is your 6/7 chord. And then you can maybe do it like that. B minor seven flat 5 is your 7th chord in the key of C major. And then you finally end on C major 7, an octave higher. Again, it's Again, these usually aren't played like this, but I'm doing this so you can see and hear what's going on. Now here's a neat thing. We talked about 10th intervals before. That's a major third, C to E. Throw the E note up an octave, it becomes a major 10th. This is pretty, I like this. A lot of people love 10th intervals, and for good reason, because they sound very sweet. Kind of sounds like Blackbird, right, by the Beatles? Very big open sound. You know, thirds kind of have a tight sound, right? Because the notes are close together. Or if you played it like this would be thirds. If you add that octave, the third plus an octave is a 10th, you get this nice, pretty open sound. It sounds great when you finger pick it. And this is pretty cool. You can take our fifth, which I showed you, remember diatonic fifths? And we're going to go root, fifth, 10th. That's a very majestic sounding voicing of C. This is one of the more realistic sounding voicings, rather than playing everything in this root position, you know, textbook kind of way. So now we're going to go root 5, 3, or you can think of that as root 5, 10, C, and then D minor. You can pluck the notes together if you want. I'm plucking them in succession so you can hear them. E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and then finally C again. C, B diminished, A minor, G, F, E minor, D minor, C. It's a very clean, open sound, right? Now, we're building upon everything I'm showing you here. If you take that 7th interval, the diatonic sevenths, and you add that to what we just did, now you're going to have these 4-note voicings. These are your diatonic 7th chords, again, in the key of C major, but we're voicing them root 5th. So we have an open 5th interval on the bottom, root 5, and then there's our 7th, B, and then 3 on top. You can think of it as 10, but I think when you do this, it's good to think of it as a third. So it's root, 5th, 7th, 3rd, in ascending order. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, C major 7. Going back down, C major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, A minor 7, G7, F major 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, C major 7. Not only is that a nicer sound than doing it like this, it sounds more open, it's much more easy on the fret hand. Another thing you can do here is invert. Take our fifth and throw it up an octave. So now we're adding more space here. We're taking, again, the diatonic seventh chords in the key of C. Now we have an open seventh interval on the bottom. So we're going to be doing this again, the seventh intervals, but then we have the seventh, the third, and the fifth on top. And you're going to definitely need to use hybrid picking. I mean, you could try to, I guess you could strum across the D string the same way like when you play a strummed octave. You mute the unused string, so you could go like this, and then D minor 7, like that. These are actually like my favorite voicings for seventh chords. E minor 7, you get a little shake on it. Major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7. Now this one a little tricky to finger like that. G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5. You gotta shuffle the fingers around there. C major 7. In each case, I'm muting the unused D string because I'm strumming with the pick. Or I could just use the pick and fingers and not have to worry about that. C major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, A minor 7, G7, F major 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, C major 7. And you can also play those on a different string group, on your D, G, B, and low E strings. These are very useful voicings, by the way, for what I consider, and a lot of people consider for seventh chords. There's C major 7th again, so we have the root on the bottom, the major 7th, the 3rd or 10th, and then the 5th or 12th way up on top. D minor 7th, you can use the ring finger to bar and then just mute over the A string. You could go like this. E minor 7, or pluck them. F major 7. I'm going to take this G7 shape here, drop it down an octave. And then A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, C major 7. Going back down. I call those Steely Dan voicings, you know, because they're just so perfect and they ring, and even when you add a little overdrive to it, it still kind of cuts nicely. In music, oftentimes less is more. And there are many situations where you just, for whatever reason, you don't feel like playing full chords. It just sounds too muddy or too overbearing, depending on the tone you're using, right? If you're using like a thick, distorted tone, sometimes you want to just play single notes or two-note intervals. And one of the nicest intervals for that is what are called sixth intervals, which we covered before. Sixths are like thirds inverted. Remember, major thirds become minor sixths. Minor thirds become major sixths. So check this out. Now we're going to walk up the C major scale on the B string. But we're going to play diatonic sixth intervals below them. So here's E and C. And you recall earlier we did this. We did C, E, D, F, E, G, right? These are our diatonic thirds. So now we're inverting them, right? Throw the lower note up an octave so the major third becomes a minor sixth. So now we have minor sixth, major sixth, major sixth. I'm going to go over to the next string group here. Minor sixth, minor sixth, major sixth, major sixth, minor sixth. Do that, right? Kind of sounds like Soul Man. All right, Steve Cropper. And another way to play it would be to go. Now here I ran out of room because I have the open string, so I'm going to play my last note there, like that. There are so many possibilities. Finger combinations, string group combinations. You want to get to learn them all and do it in the keys that are most important to you that you play in all the time.